Hi, welcome to Main and 5WH channel into yet another very interesting topic about Industry 4.0. So, when I'm running an industry series, you would have observed that there is a horizontal way of thinking, there is a vertical way of thinking. Horizontal way of thinking is when you look at technologies which are common in nature, which is used in every industry today. And vertical is when you have these same technology being customized, localized, based on the business driver of a specific industry. So you call it Industry 4.0 for manufacturing, you call it as a fintech for financial industry, you call it as an insurtech for insurance industry, you could call it as a retail tech, but underlying is the thought process is like there is a horizontal practice which has to drive this emerging technology, there is a vertical practice which implements these technologies. So in this industry series we'll speak about Industry 4.0 from a very different perspective, because the easy way to think about this is to first define what it is, then look at what are the companies doing it. So for example, if it's an OEM, whether IBM or Amazon, Google, what they're doing on Industry 4.0, what does the Wikipedia talk about it? So what does a traditional company who've been running manufacturing practice for last 15 years, 20 years do to really sustain, blah blah blah. Okay, so different perspectives to things. But what you're doing in Industry 4.0 is very interesting. You are trying to make it very goal oriented. Okay, you're trying to look at the PLM process, ERP process, supply chain management process, customer experience process. You're digitizing the process part. Okay, and then you're thinking about autonomous way of really computing. You're looking at intelligent way of analytical things by using the technologies. You're trying to create a lot of trusted value chain by using technology. So for example, for trusted, you could use blockchain. For analytical, you could use big data, you use AI, machine learning, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So technology is pretty easy, but when you apply it into an industry, it becomes very complicated because of the traditional nature they have been for last 40 years or more than that. Or the change is very difficult, like it's not as easy as presenting in a boardroom or coming to a customer presentation. It's an enterprise architecture, it's a digitized journey. It takes years together before you can see a change on the ground, but at the same time incremental value is possible, not an enterprise value over a period of time, to be very realistic in communications to the end customers. So Industry 4.0, what does it mean for all of us? It refers to a new technology era. It's a new technology era. This is transforming, you can see the factories transforming the current systems, what you would have had, sensors, machines, workload, blah, blah, blah. Okay. By using different type of technologies. So what you will have to really relate from a commonsensical aspect of thing is, here is an industry, here is a bank, here is a manufacturing automobile company, here is a retail company. The other side, there are technology providers, OEM. So you're creating a lot of new technologies. They could be called cyber security, augmented reality, big data, autonomous robots, adaptive manufacturing. It could be system integration, cloud computing, IoT, blockchain, blah, 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 right? So there is a disconnect between what's happening in the industry, what is actually in the real core. And the core industry is focused on business, ERP, billing, PLM, blah, 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 right? So how do you match and create a synergy between two? That is where this marriage between this kind of technology to the industry is where you put fintech, insurtech, Industry 4.0 in place. Okay. So some of the technology which is very important in Industry 4.0 is, one is cybersecurity, because Industry 4.0 will focus on, because you're trying to expose these contents. So you need to secure and protect your industrial data processing systems from hackers, right? So you need to have a sophisticated cybersecurity. There are a lot of standards. I think we spoke about the standards in cybersecurity. You just have to follow it very due diligent. Okay. Then the second technology which can be used in Industry 4.0 could be augmented reality. So it really helps in selecting maybe manufacturing parts and send industrial fault status information to applications. You can create prototyping. They're also making smart application with decision making. So there's a lot of application here. Now we're not discussing what is augmented reality. You could really Google it, but fundamentally that's one of the technology which plays a very key role in Industry 4.0. Third is about big data. We all know the data is there. You have a lot of machineries, a lot of information coming from each and every systems. So in industry, collection analysis of data from different sources becomes very necessary. So big data can help optimize the data, production quality, save energy, improve service. You can keep speaking about it for years together, right? The next is about the autonomous robots. We all have heard like the usage of autonomous robots is very much high in manufacturing. You can handle complex tasks difficult for human beings by interacting with humans. Okay, you can reduce setup times and quality. It's a big area to be developed. All what I'm talking about is today in 10%, 20%, 25% maturity based on the company, based on the maturity they have in terms of change, blah, blah, blah. So it's a huge opportunity for all of us to really play a key role in the next 40 to 50 years to come. You have something called additive manufacturing. Companies are adopting 3D printing technology for manufacturing and prototyping of products, right? It can produce small batches of customized high performance products. So 3D printing is also very, but 3D printing as a concept is really interesting to see how it will be really coming up in the Industry 4.0. Simulations is also being used by using your 3D simulation. System integration becomes very important. The information systems will have to really connect the suppliers, customers. Okay, the organization will be interconnected and they can talk. So blockchain could have been one of the classical ways by with the SCM problems of trying to have a single version of truth. You have some rules which are being agreed by all the parties, quick reconciliation. So you can see that a lot of advantage by using blockchain for your integration. Cloud computing is a master or mother of all the technologies. So whatever technology you talk, they're offered on the cloud or as an infrastructure or a platform. So cloud is there. So but when I practically go into industries or manufacturing companies as a job role, I really find that there is a disconnect between what we are talking at a very high tech level and how the factories consume things. So they are not much worried about how you provide things. They're most worried about how the data is really being utilized inside the factory. Okay, so what Industry 4.0 will tell you in cloud is requires data storage and data sharing across machines, okay, without any boundaries. So more machines and servers can be deployed on the cloud. It'll get you better results, provide visibility. So if you get an account into an Amazon cloud or Google cloud, Azure cloud, Alibaba cloud, Oracle cloud, you'll find that they provide you infrastructure platform which can get hosted. And then there are some SaaS solutions which Oracle might provide, SAP might provide, Salesforce might provide, not your technology vendors, which can interlink between your PaaS and IaaS to provide you solutions. Last but not the least, very key is IoT, because it's a combination of networks. It is a very, very important area in manufacturing, right? Because it will allow you to really extract information from these complex systems. You can actually connect to the systems, discover new patterns of data, then you can integrate this data with your real-time systems. Okay. So that is a very brief about Industry 4.0. If you really see practically how they correlate, let's take some examples practically. First, if you go into Wikipedia, so I may always advise to students and professionals is whenever you want to learn something, first go to Wikipedia. It's a very neutral kind of view there. This is going to talk about an ongoing automation of traditional manufacturing industrial practice, talks about machine to machine communications, IoT, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then if you really go down, you can see that it talks about the fourth industry revolutions and what the World Economic Forum is talking about and how it was looking in the past. Okay, so that's very important. And what are the technology? We spoke about few of them here, like IoT, 3D printing, smart sensors, AR, wearables, visualizations, and then there are cyber physical systems and all of them, and how important is the data. So, and there are some terminologies used in industry 4 like smart factories. We are talking about creating a factory which are typically monitor physical process, virtual copy of the physical world, blah blah blah. You have predictive maintenance, 3D printing, smart sensors. Okay, so these are some of the good way to get started. Now, what is going to happen is, let me repeat it. There is an emerging technology horizontal practice. There is an industry like manufacturing. In manufacturing, there are a lot of varieties. The third is there is a kind of a service provider. Now, service provider can be divided into three parts. You would have a company which is consulting a customer. For example, if there is Hyundai company, there could be somebody who is telling them how to move into industry 4.0. So that's the first kind of organization. So once they decide like how to go, maybe providing an advisory framework, providing a digital framework, blah blah blah, then you'll have organization. They will select maybe an OEM. Maybe they'll tell go with Oracle, go with SAP, or go with Oracle plus combinations with Microsoft Azure SPAS, or there could be a combination hybrid, single version, blah blah blah. Okay. Finally, once you have selected the two, you'll have the third part, which is somebody will come and do the production deployment, or they do the services, which is basically development of the codes, integrating. That's a service provider. An example could be that the first consulting could be maybe Accenture or Deloitte. There could be OEMs, which are Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, Amazon. The third one could be companies like TCS, Infosys. It could be organizations which are actually delivering your code. Okay, so that's the first thing. Let's go to the second part. Basically, if you really look at what is IBM providing from a manufacturing. So if you really look at it, this is going to be almost, there is an intersection union. I have gone into maybe 10 to 12 sites of different partners. You will find that there are 70% intersection in the thinking, but there are 30% which are very unique to the company because they have that core experience which they have developed through their core practices in the last 30-40 years, right? So if you really look at how industry 4.0 is being visualized by IBM, right? So they put it under the manufacturing practice. They're talking a theme like how smart is your factory, okay? And then talk about how you can see the benefits of this particular area. And they talk about industry 4.0 organizes your people, process, and equipment, okay? And what IBM will do is it can 15% drop in unplanned downtime can be possible. So what they do as a solution is optimize your supply chain, enhance your operation, improve your worker safety. Okay. And what they use as a technology as they, for some of the customers, they've just named it like Sandvik digs deep with IoT. And you can see industry 4.0 transformation is done. Some people are using AI, blah, blah, blah. And what is the technology they use? They use cloud, as we discussed, AI, security, IoT. So you can see that there's nothing magic wand which is going to happen new from any of the vendors, right? So technology is going to be the same, but based on their 40 years, 30 years in the industry and their relationship with the customer, their blueprints being very localized to the end customers, trying to provide incremental value, trying to provide a large value is going to change across the customers. And you can also see that they also have something called as technology tab where you can just see on how they do. Now, this is about IBM. So if you really see, if you go into other companies like Accenture or Deloitte, you can see that a different version of that. But again, the concept is going to be the same. If you just jump into Google, now Google, you should understand, is a cloud solution provider from a platform and infrastructure. They're not pretty strong on the SaaS. Let's accept it like any of the technology provider of cloud. So Amazon is a pretty very strong number one player in IaaS or the infrastructure and a platform. And Azure is very strong on the platforms, highly competitive on the infrastructure, right? Similarly, if you go into Oracle, is very strong on the SaaS side, but with good support and providing feature functionality on the PaaS and IaaS for customers. So you can see that there are strength and weakness, opportunity, threats for all the different type of cloud providers. So we don't have to really look at an apple to apple comparison, which is pretty bad to really compare products. But at the end of the day, is there a value to the customer? What is his assets infrastructure? What is the value he's trying to derive? What's a 5-year plan? What's a 10-year investment plan? All these with the enterprise architecture team trying to work, we can really build what is the best suitable. So what did Google do? Group Renault and Google Cloud partner to accelerate Industry 4.0. Okay, now what Google Cloud is to accelerate digitization of the production facilities, right? This is just an example. So, and what they're trying to do here is Renault is a company we all know developing its own digital platform and aggregate industrial and more than 2,500 mission. So with GCP, what they're trying to do is they're using smart analytics, ML, AI, which will enable to improve the, again, going back to supply chain, manufacturing efficiency, production quality, reduction in environment. It's not going to change between companies, right? So it will develop digital skills for the employees, and it just talks about. So the Google Cloud, what they have done is basically, if you really go and visit their GCP, you log into the GCP platform, you will find hundreds of services in the platform, hundreds of services in the infrastructure, but they are core technology provider. So if they have to connect with the customer, they have to use a language called Industry 4.0 and tell a customer how you can do digitization, how you do SCM. So that's basically the job of an architect who is able to translate the technology into something useful for the industry. Similarly, if you really see Amazon, okay, now AWS has got an experience on manufacturing. So what they provide you the industrial IoT and industry promises next, and it talks about how AWS cloud help manufacture digitally transform multiple. Now, if you really see, interestingly, what I have seen is if you actually log into the console into Amazon, you will not find something as a product in SaaS, but they're positioning themselves as a player which can help an industry to really transform with that technology product. Okay, so if you really see here, they're talking about product and production design, smart factory, smart product. But if you really see what product will be really able to support this, it will be still the same old PaaS and IaaS. So here you can see for high performance can allow product developer to solve complex problem on the large scale parallel. So we have to focus on product design, not the infrastructure. So what it means is Amazon is going to really take over your infrastructure, provide you the storage capacity, or provide you the compute capacity, provide you the capability of networks, provide a capability of distributed stuff, and you can just don't worry about anything like in a CPU, GPU, FPGA. All this is well taken care. You focus on your problem in hand, focus on the product design. So that is where Amazon will help you. So don't get it wrong by telling how an SAP typically would have looked at this is like by providing a product on SaaS, which itself helps you to do the entire product and production design. Okay, here we're not talking that. Okay, so there's no here we're talking about if you had that product which is running, Amazon would have helped you to focus, not worry about the infrastructure, because that's where Amazon works. Similarly, it can build smart factory by using the AWS IoT service by capturing, analyzing, visualizing, executing on plan for data. So AWS helps your smart factory improve the business operations. Okay. Similarly, you can see that smart product and services can be offered by using ML, AL. Again, the same thing continues. So what are the things which Amazon is doing? So if you really go and search for Oracle Industry. So the reason why I'm trying to be very hands-on is it helps you, like if you really understand what I'm trying to teach you, it becomes easy for you to really pull in anything what is required tomorrow. So if you see industrial manufacturing, you can see we are talking about, this is typically for a geography in India. It talks about how you transform the future of industrial manufacturing. It's going to talk about different industry and what are the trends like digitization, servitization, and what are the technologies used for it. That is how Oracle looks at it. Similarly, if you go from an SAP, which is very important thing for you to know, because the reason why SAP is very, very key in this is because SAP focuses much on the app side, SaaS side. And they're going to be one of the best in terms of looking at it from a SaaS angle or a application angle. So, and you can see that SAP provides you a lot of functionalities on this because it is going to be very incremental for a customer, because lot of customers use SAP for ERPs and CRMs, blah blah blah. Now it becomes so easy for them to create intelligent factory by using HANA manufacturing, extended data warehouse, digital manufacturing cloud. You have products for it which can be really used. Similarly, if you really look at intelligent products they've developed, intelligent factories develop assets, empowered people. Now the reason why this is very difficult for a beginner, even a professional, to understand is it's old wine in this in the new bottle. So basically you should understand what I started off in this session before I end. One, there is a set of technologies like you call AI, ML, IoT, digitization, blah blah blah, and there is apart from the technology, there is terminologies like digitization, digital transformation, enterprise architecture, blah blah blah. You put it into one of the bucket. The second bucket basically talks about the industry transformation. Okay, that's nothing to do with horizontal technology. Basically, how is automobile industry looking for the next 25 years? Okay, what is the connected car strategy? Similarly, how is a bank looking like? How is the insurance looking? So you'll get into the specific industry. Now, to create the magic or a marriage between your horizontal and industry, you'll find a lot of consulting companies, service companies, product companies. Okay. The third category, which is very important to understand, is how are companies trying to look at this entire thing. So there are different type of organizations. There are product companies which are just focused on creating products which are core to the manufacturers. For example, SAP, Oracle, Salesforce is going to touch the manufacturing processes. They have products for it. Amazon or Google or Azure don't have products for it. They are technology providers. So there could be customers using the SaaS of Oracle with your Amazon's infrastructure because AWS could be superior in terms of some of the parameters, right? So that's the combination you need to understand. So it's always good to start with a business case which could come from a SaaS story, and then look at how you can optimize your infrastructure, add more value through the platform as service. That's how critically things will look like. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this session very useful. We'll catch up again on the next session. Thank you.